Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Is that working? So, this is. Well, we're off to a roaring start, ladies and gentlemen. The sound system is really working, so that's not a good way to go. But anyhow, we are so glad you're here today. Welcome to the Field of Valor. And I want to first of all point to this amazing Civil War band called the Battalion, the Band of the California Battalion. What I just said. Can we give them a big round of applause? They're going to be playing throughout the day, throughout the rest of the program, as well as they're going to be playing a little bit afterwards, led by Dr. Gary Scott. Can you give Gary a big hand, please? This is the day for Gary's up front. My name is Gary Remlin. I'm the chairman of the Field of Valor. We're in our 11th year. I'm honored to be the chairman of this event. It is always a pleasure to have you come out and join us for all the work that's gone on to put this field together. It's our pleasure to have you here, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your day. This is our 11th year, which is amazing when I think about it, how quickly those 11 years have gone. Some of you may be here for your first time today. Some of you may have been here for your 11th year, I hope. But whatever it is, we're glad you're here today to enjoy this field. The Community Foundation determined as we looked around the city of Orange and came up with different ideas of areas or groups of people who would have things that we could do, that we could support, that we could get behind. One of the biggest areas was veterans' needs. And what we tried to do as an organization was start this Field of Valor in order to raise money and then come alongside veterans and support them in different ways. We had three key goals that we wanted to accomplish when we started here. One, recognize veterans. A lot of times, as we found out 2 years ago with our Vietnam veterans returning, we had a chance to honor them in a very special way, and it was moving for all of us. And grateful that event happened. But we want to make sure that we keep this field for what it was intended, and that's to bring veterans out here and honor them for their service to this country. That's our primary goal. Our second one is to educate and provide etiquette on the flag. We bring classes of schools out here. We take them through the different areas of the field, 27 historical flags, the Medal of Honor recipients, and then out in the middle we've got all the flags of the military. We have docents that stand there and teach them about those flags and tell them how they got there, when they got there, and what they're all about. It's really important. They need to know, and part of our job is to help educate them doing that. Our third goal was to raise money. Over the first 11 years of doing this, we've raised north of $400,000. We've pushed out about $350,000 of that. And that's thanks to you guys. We have sponsors, and we'll talk about them in a second. But more than that, we didn't make another veterans organization. We just wanted to support the ones that are already doing great work out there, and you'll hear about some of those in just a little bit. So that's what the Field of Valor is going to continue to do. That's why we started it, and that's the way we're going to keep it. The great part about it is there's so many groups that help participate in making this happen. We're going to get to see a lot of them in action today. The outpouring of love from the community, not organizations, but just individuals who come here every year just to say thank you and to be a part of this and to thank veterans is really just such an amazing thing to be a part of. Today we have a lot of veterans in attendance. We've got them from World War II to Korea to Vietnam and on. So we have a couple of very special guests today that I want to start off recognizing. And we put up a canopy in the middle of the field. And underneath that canopy, it's my honor to introduce to you Gunner's Mate William Chan, who served in the United States Navy aboard the USS Mississippi. On May 16th, William Chan turned 102 years old. Can we just give William a big hand? There he is. 102. William, we're so glad you're here. Thank you for your service. Sitting right in front of him is Sergeant Louis Black, who served in the Army Air Force and fought in Normandy, Ardennes, and the Rhineland. He turned 102 on June 23rd. Let's give Louis a big hand. Louis, welcome back, Louis. I don't think we have any other World War II warriors here with us today. I know we have possibly some Korean, I know we have at least one Korean War veteran, but I have one here, Corporal Robert Bachtenmeyer. Is he here today? All right, well, there's a gentleman who's got a Korean veteran's hat on. I talked to him. Could you stand up, please? Korean War veteran. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but welcome. We're glad to have you here too. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you say hi to these amazing people on your way out. They deserve our love and attention. So as I said earlier, we're going to recognize all those who've served who've been in the service. But the first thing we want to do is recognize a special group of people who are with us today. If you're currently here and you are a Blue Star family, that means you've got a son or a daughter who's currently serving. Could you stand and be recognized, please? Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. We have any Gold Star families with us today. Gold Star families are those who've lost a loved one while serving. I know the City of Orange has had a number of families who've lost loved ones while they are serving. One of those would be Ty Kettenhofer, who was one of the Army Golden Knights, who was killed while he was serving. But we appreciate the Gold Star families and the Blue Star families. Thank you for your service. We are eternally grateful. Now it's my chance or opportunity to introduce to you our elected officials who are with us today. I want to start up with our 40th District Congresswoman, Young Kim. Young, thank you. And representing the 46th District, which is Lou Correa's district, is Elizabeth Brooke. Elizabeth? There you are. Welcome. Representing Orange County Supervisor Chairman Don Wetter's third is Pat Buttress. Pat's here, dressed in a red, white, and blue. Looks terrific. Thanks, Pat. From the City of Orange, Mayor Dan Slater. Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember John Demetrio. Councilmember John Gillinghammer. Councilmember Kathy Tavares. Kathy. And we also have Councilmember Dennis Villarreal. From the Villa Park City Council, we have Crystal Miles. And we also have Robert. No, I can't. My writing is so bad, I can't do it. I wrote it down quick. That's who he is, Frank. Every side of Frank. Sorry about that. My writing was better, that wouldn't happen. We also have former City Council member from the City of Orange, Mike Spurgeon. Also an Army veteran. Thank you, Mike. Also, former City Council member, Fred Whitaker. And also, can't forget her because she's on the Community Chamber, Community Foundation Board, Carolyn Cabechi, former mayor of the City of Orange. Carolyn, thank you for being here. I know you're around here somewhere. We also have with us today Orange Police Chief Adam Jernick. Adam's back in the back over there. Thank you, Adam, for being here. We also have from the Orange City Fire Department Chief Sean DiMetropolis. Sean, thank you for being here today. I also want to take a second while I'm talking about the fire department. If you get a chance when you stand up and turn around, take a look at that beautiful flag that they've hung off the truck one back there, and the beautiful flag that got hung off of that backstop over there. All because the Orange City Fire Department brought all their ladders today, and they had no fires to put out, so they had flags to hang, and we had them hanging. You guys, thank you for bringing your truck and doing that. We appreciate you. We have Chairman Emeritus from the Chapman University Board of Trustees, Doy Henley. Doy? There you are, Doy. I knew you were out there. I saw you. Also, retired United States Marine Corps. All right. Now, those are all the people I had listed, and I know you're all really important, and I'd love to read all your names, but is there someone I missed by chance? Oh, Miss Orange. Miss Orange is here. Ladies and gentlemen, stand up, Miss Orange. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. I'd also like to recognize the board of directors from the Community Foundation of Orange. Those of you who are here, please stand. And while you're standing, if you're on the Field of Valor Committee, please stand up so we can give you guys a round of applause. All right, with introductions out of the way, let's get going on the order of events here. We're going to start with an invocation, and that's going to be given to us today by Pastor Rick Olson from the Beacon Church here in Orange. He's also a chaplain with the Orange Fire Department. That will be followed by the presentation of the colors. That will be done by the Orange Police Department Honor Guard. Following that, we're going to have the flag salute from Mayor Dan Slater. This will be followed by the national anthem, which will be performed by the band of the California Battalion, Gary Scott leading. And finally, after that's over, we will retire the colors. Orange Police Department will retire the colors. And at that point, everyone can be seated. So, I'm going to invite Pastor Rick up to the podium. He's going to start us off with an invocation. And if possible, if you could stand, that would be great. If you can't, we get it.
As we begin the decade-long 250th anniversary of our American Republic, it is appropriate that we stop and remember the men and women who've made it possible. In that vein, I'd like to share the story of Corporal Edward Mills of the Connecticut Militia. Corporal Mills was stationed at Fort Griswold protecting New London, Connecticut, the base of the Colonial Merchant Marine. Early in the morning of September 6th, the alarm sounded that the city was under attack by the British Navy. Edward left his wife, his 3 daughters, and his 3-week-old son and reported to Fort Griswold at the top of the hilltop across from the Thames River from New London. In an effort to distract General Washington from marching south, the British decided to send the turncoat General Benedict Arnold to attack his own hometown. Much like the Battle of Bunker Hill, the overwhelming British forces won the day, but with large casualties. It's the last British victory on American soil. When the American Lieutenant Colonel Ledyard surrendered his sword to the fort to British commander, his sword was turned on him, and the British forces began to slaughter the remaining American soldiers. 150 Americans died that day. Almost all were neighbors and relatives who lived near the fort. When the sounds of the battle came to an end, Hannah Mills became worried that she hadn't heard anything from her husband, Edward. She carried her infant son to the fort. The wounded and the dying had been taken to her uncle's house at the bottom of the hill, where even today the bloodstains of those that laid on the floor can be seen. There she found her husband just in time for him to say goodbye to his 3-week-old son, Edward Jr. Corporal Mills was my 5th great-grandfather. He did not make it home. Today, 250 years later, we honor the very blood, sweat, and tears of every American soldier who has stood the dark line between freedom and tyranny, looking death in the face. We honor and remember the far too many who did not make it home. But we thank and welcome the many of you who did make it home to share the freedom with us. Please join me as your faith allows as I pray. Our Heavenly Father, we gather this week to honor the men and women who have served us, offering up their own lives. The red on our flag reminds us of the sacrifice paid by thousands who stood with courage and valor for the ideals of our young democracy, which had the audacity to declare to the world that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by you, their Creator, with certain unalienable rights. They did pay with their blood, and each generation of Americans has had to decide if what they were given is truly worth the sacrifice. In our audience today are those who have made that choice and stood on our behalf. Jesus himself affirmed that there is no greater love than to offer one's life for our friends. So under the banner of this great love shown to the American people for the past 250 years, we dedicate this field of valor and ask for your presence, that you would make this truly a sacred ground for the duration of the event. Teach us the value of valor through the stories of each of the dedicated flags. Give us the courage to stand in the gap when our time comes. Bless this ground and this event, we ask in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please join me in a promise of loyalty to our flag and to our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This version of is the exact version that was played at the inauguration of Abraham Lincoln in 1860. Can you be seated? Can we have a round of applause, please, for the Orange City Color Guard, Police Department Color Guard? That was an amazing version of the national anthem. Anybody ever heard that before? Yeah. Well, you had to be around a few years ago, I guess, to hear that version of it, right? So it's now indeed my pleasure to introduce to you, as part of what I said earlier, what we do is raise money here at the Community Foundation. When you purchase a flag, it goes to the foundation. There are groups and companies and individuals who sponsor this event. All that money goes to the Community Foundation Veterans account, and then it's granted out. And today, I'd like to introduce a friend of mine and a board member from the Community Foundation, Orange, Mike Kelly, to tell you how that money is used and recognize a few of our special sponsors. So let's give Mike a big hand.
Thanks, Gary. I'm going to try to fix this mic while I'm up here. Okay, well, I'll try. Thank you, Gary, but more importantly, thank you to all of you who are here today to support us. Your support over the years has helped us support other organizations who are here with us today. In the last 10 years, we have donated more than $343,000 to several organizations. And yes, thank you. And these organizations directly support our local veterans' causes. Their families, active duty military, and of course, some of these organizations are here today. So I'd like you to stand when I call your name, please. First of all, Honor Flight Southland. Yeah, you can give them applause. Patriots and Paws. And there's Casper, who's 11 years old, and Viking, who's 7 months. Homefront America. Thank you. American Veterans Assistance. Thanks for being here and all you do. Honoring Our Fallen. And those in the Villa Park Rotary for their Marine Thanksgiving dinner. Thank you, Robert. It's a special part of our job is to support these local organizations. If you do know of other local organizations who need support, please check with us. This event, as Gary mentioned, has distributed about $350,000, but that's just one of the benefits. Obviously, recognizing our flag, recognizing our veterans and everything we do, that's the main thing. But the outcome of that is lots of support for our community, so please spread the word. Thank you very much.
So Mike, thank you, and thank you to all of our sponsors and supporters and all of your contributions. All of these organizations are doing great work in the veteran community. I just want to take a moment and go a little off script, which is always dangerous for anybody with a microphone, but this one's worth it. Yesterday, I don't know exactly what the number of people were that we had out here setting this field up, but it was somewhere between 100, 200, maybe more people. A lot of those people came from Home Depot. And this year, Home Depot made us a special project in the scheme of what they do. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate these stores. They went to bat with corporate, contributed a lot of money toward purchasing us new rebar, about 250 to 300 new flags. Anytime we need equipment, anytime we need help, Home Depot of Orange, that's on Tustin and on Catella, they're here to help us. But not only that, they roped in 5 other stores yesterday to help us set the field up. This whole field was a sea of orange shirts of Home Depot people and personnel. I have to just give them that plug because I'm so proud of what they do. And they love veterans, and they support and sponsor veterans groups in a way that most other corporate companies don't. And they were here yesterday to help us all day from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. And I just want to give them a big shout out and say thank you to them. Now I want to recognize some of our sponsors for this year. I started out with Home Depot, and I wanted to make sure I gave that the biggest plug because we just love and appreciate that whole group of people. One of the other couples that has sponsored this event and our organization since we started the Field of Valor is Dave and Linda Brown. So thank you to them. They are Medal of Honor sponsors. Very kind of them. We have Distinguished Service sponsors, SC Fields, a longtime supporter of the Field of Valor. Silver Star sponsors include Doy Henley. Doy, you've supported us every year we've been open. Doy sponsors, including many of the Orange Police Department, Chattanooga University veterans that are out in this field, are sponsored as a result of Doy's donation. So thank you, Doy. We really do appreciate that. Seven Gables Real Estate. Seven Gables has people that come here and work. They also are the place you'll go to pick up your flags if you want to take it home with you at the end of this event. Thank you to Seven Gables, and we also want to include the Orange Elk Lodge, 1475. We appreciate you as well. Mike and Susie Spurgeon. Mike, thank you. Appreciate you and for all the sponsorships you've offered us, especially for the Orange City firefighter veterans. If you're a firefighter and a veteran and you're recognized, it's because Mike sponsored you out on this field. So Mike and your family, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. And we couldn't do it without the support of so many others, but those are just to name a few of them. There are a number of other people who give a little, and that all matters. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. I want to make an announcement about a few things that are happening here at the field before we get to our speaker. John Haverstick, who's also been here every year that we've been open, when you walk in, you'll see photos or portraits of veterans. That's what John is. And if you're a veteran, you can get your portrait taken for free. And John will do that, do a beautiful job of it. He's amazing with that camera. And he's here until 2 o'clock today. So if you haven't had that done and you're a veteran, please stop by and see John and get your picture taken. What he does is absolutely fantastic. So John, thank you. We appreciate it. There's no cost for that either. Okay? In addition, John brought a friend from Carolina Felice, and she has a company that she's doing honoring our veterans. Honoring our veterans is she wants to take and capture your story on videotape. One of the regrets I have about doing this for 11 years is of all the stories and of all the men and women I've talked to, I wish I would have written down and talked and kept a log of all the stories of what these people have been through. It would have been amazing. I can remember a lot of them, but there's some that I've forgotten. I think when our veterans leave, they take those stories with them. We'd love to be able to get those, and I know Carolina, that's her goal. Capture those stories from all of our veterans who served. So, she'll be back there. Am I still on here? Okay, I want to make sure. She's going to be back there, back by John's booth. So go back and visit her. If you'd like to, she'll schedule an appointment with you and get that taken care of. So I thought that was really nice. And then there's a booth over here. The red booth over here is really special, especially if you like cookies. There were a bunch of fantastic people out in the audience passing out cookies beforehand, but the Assistance League of Orange is here today with baskets of cookies for veterans. Please visit them on your way out. They'll be out passing around cookies as well. And then following our event here today, the ceremony, the opening ceremony is the band of the California Battalion, which you've been hearing all morning so far, and you guys have been awesome. They'll be performing. While that's going on, Orange Fire Department is putting on a barbecue over that side of the building. Chips, drinks, hot dogs. Please stick around and have lunch with us and listen to some great Civil War era music. I also want to direct you to the program. If you didn't pick that up when you walked in, please pick one up. It's got a lot of great information about the field. It gives you all the details about the historic flags, where the Medal of Honor recipients are, what all the ribbons mean on the flags. It's just a valuable tool to have when you walk around the field. And certainly you can catch any of our dozens of people who work here to help you out with any questions you might have. Part of the timing on this is crucial because we have a flyover coming, and I want to make sure we're on time with what we're doing, so I'm just checking to see how long-winded I can go. Let's see. Oh yeah, this year we have another school coming out, Santiago Charter School's coming out on Wednesday. That's one of our education opportunities where we bring them into the field, teach them about the flag, and the principal of that school is on our board at the Community Foundation. And John, thank you for bringing out, I'm sorry, Jim, thank you for bringing those kids out here. We're looking forward to having them out here. So today, leading into this, talking about the education of the flag, this brings us to a moment in our ceremony that's really unique and a really interesting way to understand the importance of our flag, every aspect of it. And with that said, I'd like to invite Staff Sergeant Augie Roca, a Marine Corps veteran of 12 years, and a member of the Orange City Police Department for over 20 years, to come up for the 13 Folds demonstration. Members of the Orange Police Color Guard will be assisting in this demonstration. Let's welcome Augie up with a big hand. Augie? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What a wonderful day to celebrate our veterans. And my name is Augie Rocha, and thank you, Gary, for the wonderful introduction. My partners here will be assisting me in the symbolism of the 13 folds of the U.S. flag. The American flag is one of the most important symbols of the United States. Folding the American flag into a triangle gives a unique honor and respect to the flag.
The flag is folded to represent the original 13 colonies of the United States. Each fold also carries its own meaning. The following is an explanation of what each of these folds mean. The first fold of the flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of the belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing the ranks who gave a portion of their lives for the defense of the country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents the weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace, as well as in time of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for the words by Stephen Decatur, our country is dealing with other countries, and she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where people's hearts lie. It is with their heart that they pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to its armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that they protect their country and their flag against all enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of their republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood and mothers, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great has been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for He too has given His sons and daughters for the defense of their country since they were first born. The 11th fold represents a lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon and glorifies in the Hebrew eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in the Christian eyes God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The 13th fold, or when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding them of the nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving them the rights, privileges, and freedoms they enjoy today. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just experienced a flag folding ceremony of our nation's flag. I wish I could present a flag to each veteran present. Unfortunately, I can't do that. Today, this flag will be presented to a 102-year-old veteran, United States Navy Gunner's Mate 3rd Class William Chan. William was born in 1923 in Kaohsiung, China, and came to the United States as a young student. At the age of 19, he enlisted in the United States Navy in 1943 and served as a gunner's mate 3rd class aboard the USS Mississippi. He saw combat on the Filipino island of Luzon in 1945 and survived a kamikaze attack during the same campaign. As the only Chinese American among more than 2,000 crew members, he earned the respect of his shipmates through his dedication, humility, and skill. For his service, he received the Victory Medal, the Philippine Liberation Ribbon with Crown Stars, the Asiatic Pacific Ribbon with 7 stars, and the American Campaign Ribbon. After the war, he earned degrees in electrical engineering and business from the University of Illinois and went on to have a successful career in family life. In retirement, William Chan continued to share his story of courage, perseverance, and faith, reminding us all of the quiet strength of those who serve our nation with honor. Gunner's Mate 3rd Class Chan, thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your service. May God bless you with abundant health and life, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Aldrin. I don't have words to follow that, so let's just keep moving forward. I'm really honored at this time. I got this 3-page bio of Judge Carter, and he just told me he wanted me to tell you 3 things. The Purple Heart. Oh, see, I already forgot the other 2. Okay, so he was the 1st Lieutenant of the United States Marines. He served in Vietnam. He's got a Bronze Star. He's got a Purple Heart. And he's getting me off the stage because he's got things to say. Can you welcome Judge Carter? We're going to hold this microphone for me. Can you hear me? All right, Jerry, come here.
I want to thank you for giving me a few brief moments to speak to you. In Arlington Cemetery, there's an inscription that reads, "Not for fame or reward, not for place or rank, not lured by ambition or goaded by necessity, without thought of material compensation, they turned their backs. They turned their backs on those things to defend our precious value, the right of people everywhere to live at peace and to determine their own future from oppression and fear. A hero should speak to you today. I am not a hero, but I have walked and seen heroes. I'm humbled that you've listened to my few words today, because freedom is never free. I was once a warrior. I was once a combat Marine. I was with 1-9, the Walking Dead of Khe Sanh, who held back 20,000 North Vietnamese with 4,000 Marines. And I would enlist again to fight for this country, as every veteran here would. We value you, our nation, beyond comprehension. And the memories of my friends, the young I commanded in combat, are etched on a wall and chiseled inside for years when I was too afraid to speak and open those doors of my youth and the grief. And now I find that it is my generation's turn to speak before we're no longer here. And so I'm honored that you would listen to these few words. The pride of our freedom as veterans, represented by all services today, and hoorah, is one of great sacrifice to establish and keep this democracy, a government in which we the people govern ourselves, and the right of individuals are paramount. But to do this, to keep our freedom and continue our way of life, this has not gone unchallenged. Americans have been called to defend this great country many times, and the choices have been few, stark, and difficult. There were times when our very survival was at issue, when it seemed as if we the people would perish. And those times, democracy itself was in danger. And who stepped forward? Veterans. America's promise of liberty was close to extinction on many times. My mother tells me about the fear, my grandfather, of the attack on Pearl Harbor, and what they faced as a generation. So honored that the World War II veterans are with us. It was desperate. A great president once said a few simple words that echoed across the fields of Gettysburg. You've hurt them, but they're worth repeating. And they live eternally. And that is that the brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. My particular generation heard a young president say, "Let every nation know, whether it wishes will or ill, that we shall bear any price, bear any burden, and meet any hardship, and support any friend or oppose any foe in order to assure the survival and success of liberty. This much we pledge and more." Other generations responded in the past, in the future, and last night, the Marine Corps celebrated as their speaker at Camp Pendleton our 250th anniversary. And what we've said, and all of us know as veterans, it's not if, it's going to be when, because we will face combat again. And you know a secret? that Americans share that no other country has, that we Americans will always respond. Because we are the people and we have a piece of our democracy. We will always recognize the privilege we Americans enjoy, the right to question, the essence of our freedom. And it is not to be had simply for the asking. And these privileges have great hardship. There are some of us today, the Blue Star mothers, and thank you for your service for your family, the Gold Star mothers who have met on so many occasions, who could not, as Gold Star mothers, preserve their sons, their daughters, their brothers, their sisters, their family. They can only hold their children in stewardship, having lost the greatest thing and value that they could have possibly have. And when America stands in the most perilous hours, we look to these families. We look to you veterans. So I'm going to tell you a few stories and sit down. The greatest philosopher of my time was a Marine Corps drill instructor. It wasn't a law professor or some judge teaching me the law, because what he said to me in a few words spoken in Southern, which is a foreign language, a gentleman from Alabama, about 6'2", 225 pounds, who lovingly loved to caress my neck and sometimes my back, said, "You want to know about equality? All you Mexicans, blacks, and whites, when they shoot you, you're all going to bleed red. That's equality." And it took me 3 years of law school to learn that. He was an educated man. He told me he could count to 50, which was the number of push-ups we should immediately give him. And that's no sharing with all of you who went through boot camp, whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Merchant Marine. And then he told me the following: we get paid for what we do. I'm sorry, we don't get paid for what we do, Carter. We get paid for what we may have to do. And that's why every veteran here deserves a special thank you from our society. But you know something? We veterans say to America, thanks for the privilege of being an American and letting you serve. So the appreciation goes both ways. And finally he told me, "Carter, you're stupid and ugly," both of which I can readily accept. He told me, "Before I give you, my blessed young Marines, to command in combat, you will go to work with the blessed Marine Corps. You will protect the greatest country on earth. And these good people will pay you a wage each day that you don't deserve. But Carter, there will come a day in combat that you will earn every cent of that day's wage. And that is why I have trained you so hard. And when you go on a leave in a few days, I want you to walk up to the first couple in Washington, D.C. as a young second lieutenant and introduce to them Second Lieutenant Dave Carter, United States Marine Corps, and thank them for the privilege of protecting their freedom." So I especially want to recognize the mayor today. I want to recognize the Orange County community. I want to recognize the congresswoman who's here. I want to recognize all of you council who attended this ceremony. And I hope across this country, before my generations pass, millions of Americans continue to celebrate Veterans Day. In remembrance, solemnity, but also great comradeship. I'll finish with Lincoln's words. They can't be more profound. It is for you, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who forged have thus far so nobly advanced, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth. I bring you greetings from my unit, 19, The Walking Dead. I bring you greetings from all of the veterans here, back to our society, because we defend and will do this with our lives, signing a blank check, which is on the back of this gentleman's shirt. That when we signed up on behalf of this country, we were willing to give our lives for this country. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America, and let me thank you for speaking today. By the way, when you wave those flags, this is Quezon. This is 20,000 North Vietnamese of the 304th, 324th, and 325th Division. 4,000 Marines held up in the valley for 77 days, and we weren't going to give them Dien Bien Phu again. We suffered from bubonic plague. Serum had to be flown in. We couldn't get out of dead and wounded. So what is this picture all about? These are my men, and every day we were shelled with over 1,300 artillery rounds. But every day I told them that they would say the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. And we had 27 seconds from the pop from the Coal Rock Mountain with artillery to say it quickly and dive into the trenches. That is what America means, and that is what we are defending. This great country, this great flag, our God, and our Constitution. Thank you.
Judge Carter, thank you so much. I had a front row seat for that one. And it was amazing. Thank you for sharing your heart and your love for this country. It just permeates out of you, and we appreciate that. Thank you, Judge. As you mentioned, it's a unique time in our country's history in that we have a lot of anniversaries going on with different things. 80 years ago, World War II came to an end. 75 years ago, the Korean War began. It's been called the Forgotten War, but we'll never forget those who fought in it. In the cold, the hills, the valleys, they defended liberty with unwavering resolve. 50 years ago, Saigon fell.